This podcast is a production of Digital and Creative Media Works. To help support us, head to dcm.works to find links to our other show notes, Patreon, and merch. Hey guys, welcome back to the Arthritis Podcast, official podcast of Digital and Creative Media Works. My name is David, DCM, Creative Director, Lead Writer, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host Ben.
Hello.
Frank, no, I was bringing energy.
We're not.
I was bringing the energy, and you fucking
We're
come
not
in.
doing that joke ever.
You come in low-key like you're not happy to be here.
Like I'm here to sell some goddamn tiles or some shit.
Yeah, man, something like that. It's a very regional reference. Most of our listeners aren't going to understand because y'all are international. That's okay. But this week, Ben, it's been films. It's been you won't hear that a week.
It's been video content. It's been nothing but videos.
Been wild. And so what we've done this week is I've done some reflecting. We've looked back on the month that was.
Yep.
And for that reason, I wanted to talk about, and this week we're talking about the mechanics of Assassin's Creed Origins. So you have only sort of seen me play an hour and a bit.
I've seen the very just fine film of dust that this game has on the surface. I've nibbled the dust. I've licked it slightly. I've gone, yep, that's dust, that's about my extent with the game.
Did that thing where you walk through the lounge room and you accidentally draped your hand across the surface and went, I gotta fucking clean that.
Oh man,
wiped it off and then forgot
dust
about
everywhere.
it.
Yeah,
it's
very bad. I don't know where this.
I don't know what the analogy is trying to do. Yeah, that was.
I've licked the surface of dust that is AC Origins.
Oh boy, it was a bad way to start the episode, but it's too late now to go back. So the reason I wanted to talk about this
is the dust bunnies. All right, let's continue.
Are you sure? Because it seems like you want to.
No, it's good. No, it's fine. That was the last one.
Are you?
What, you want me to go further?
No, are you 100% sure that was the last one?
The dust rabbit.
Okay, yeah, right, yeah. I felt the joke there, and I didn't want to fucking lead you to it. But I guess I
found it.
I found it, and you realized that I was
like a horse to
time.
water.
Exactly like that, just like in the game, but.
Horses and water. Good segue.
Horses and water don't work in this game.
No.
There's some wild physics mechanics in
Horses
this video
don't work, and water doesn't work.
Well, the horses work a lot of the time. But,
they work like cars.
But you murder a lot of people when you're on a horse.
Right.
It's pretty good. No, the reason I wanted to talk about it is I was playing Shadow of War before this came out.
Yeah.
Mostly when I was on the exercise bike because it's the kind of game where you switch your brain
You can
off.
just kind of brain,
Yeah, which is good. But the reason, and so AC Origins came out, I started playing that, and I made a video on it, which you can go watch at youtube.com/DCMworks. But one of the things that I really liked about Origins versus Shadow of War is it felt much more like I was playing in a world that like I could interact with. I wasn't just in it. Like Shadow of War, you go around, you have like a few ways of interacting.
You kind of just run around and kill people.
You either kill something, or you make it kill something else, or you kill something to then kill something. Like
it's in the title. It says it's Shadow of War.
Yeah,
it isn't Shadow of do other things.
It's a fairly shallow experience in that way.
This isn't Shadow of play your own way. You can be evil or good in this dramatic RPG.
It's not Shadow of Grey. But like, don't get me wrong.
Very well defined.
Don't get me wrong. That game knows exactly what it is. But the result of that is when you're playing it, it feels not shallow, but like there's no substance.
It's like a Batman game.
Yeah,
because it is basically a Batman game where you just play as Batman,
and you just go around and you do the thing. You do the things he does.
Yeah,
it's the equivalent of like any sort of old action game you pick up where it was very narrative based, and you would just kind of go through the different levels and be that character. Except it's open world, and that kind of gives it this facade of there's choice, but it's not. You have to do the same stuff. But
it's weirdly a role playing game, but there's just one role. That you have to play.
No, that's exactly. It's like reading a book, but it's not fun.
It's like reading.
That's the best way.
Like reading a book. Shadow of War.
Like I like Shadow of War, but it's not. It didn't tickle me in the way that I wanted it to. And then I picked up Origins, and it blew me out of the water with the level to which they thought through some of the mechanics. So I guess the place I wanted to start with was, whilst the game does follow the narrative structure and the narrative beats of an Assassin's Creed game, there's an inciting incident that causes trauma.
There's an animus
character.
Somewhere,
there's an animus.
It's not important.
The main character that you play is on a quest for revenge because of a past trauma, and you kill a bunch of Templars until you get to the top of the chain. What I like about the way that they structured it in this game is that, to start with, the main character, Bayek, is actually like a character. One of the biggest flaws of the other games is the main characters were either like too dour and uninteresting to like. So I'm thinking of like AC Unity, where like Arno is just
He's just a husk.
He's just like he feels like he wants to be sarcastic, but he never quite is. Same with Elise in that game. She's just kind of there. Like a lot of the characters in these are kind of stereotypes, but not fun ones. And then you've got the opposite.
And then the actual stereotypes.
And then like actual literal stereotypes.
Ezio.
Yeah, with Ezio, where it's like he's just an Italian.
He's just a pizza boy. Essentially,
he just bangs everything and has a cool accent.
He's just very Italian.
And then AC1, which is like drab and unpleasant to play.
We don't talk about AC1.
Yeah. So those are kind of your archetypes that are typically there. And then obviously you've got Black Flag, where Edward's like an actually interesting like 4-dimensional.
You're a pirate.
Yeah, but he's like a 3-dimensional character, and he's a pirate. But then he's got these conflicting. Like he's actually fun to play, which is kind of different. And then you've got
AC4 is the outlier.
AC4 is the outlier.
It's the game where they took such a left turn, and everyone's like, yeah, just more of this, and then they're like, no, it's too different.
Too much, guys. But then even like you look at AC Unity, and they tried. Sorry, AC Syndicate, and they tried so hard to make it fun. Like so hard to make it fun, but it was just like. It felt so forced. You know when you play a game, you can feel that the layer of the characters. In that game, you play as the twins, Jacob and Evie, and they're sarcastic and they banter, but it always feels kind of forced because the game is just you still do the same shit. You go somewhere, you kill a bunch of people. You got more gadgets now.
It was like a bad Dishonored 2.
Yeah, sort of.
Kind of. Not really. Bad comparison. Let's continue.
Well, yeah,
I've played about an hour of.
Okay, then yeah, bad
of
analogy.
Dishonored 2, which you can watch on youtube.com/DCMworks. I think
it's just a plug-heavy episode today, I guess. Yeah. No, so Origins is nothing like Unity or AC2. It's it has a lot of similarities with Black Flag. The guy who directed Black Flag also made Origins. A lot of his team carried across, and you can feel like
it really shows.
Yeah, you can feel that they went, let's do something. It's not just, let's pump out an Assassin's Creed game. It's like, let's do something different. And like, let's actually...
Even like the small amount that I saw, there's elements of sort of the detail and like how large the world is, even, where it seems very similar to Black Flag. And it has boats. So therefore it's Black Flag.
Well, and there is also sections of the game where you do the Black Flag boat mechanic stuff, which is cool. And, when you do
they
it...
actually use cannons? Like
No, they have bow and arrow.
Oh, bow boys.
Yeah. Okay. It's pretty cool. And then it's sort of a fun. You're with I think it's like a Roman ship or a Greek ship or something. You sort of that's when you play as Bayek's wife.
I was gonna say there's about 300 years between the Romans and the Greeks, so
I can't remember.
It would have been the Greeks.
I don't know, dog.
Oh, actually,
no. What are you talking about? No, there's definitely Greek people and Romans and fucking Egyptians in Africa at that time. 100%.
It's very much like the end of one era and the start of another.
Well, Cleopatra is like just taking over.
Oh, okay.
It's like at the start of that.
So, yeah, Romans.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Fucking Caesar's there, I guess.
Yeah. Mr. Salad Boy.
Salad Boy.
Yeah.
So the kind of cool thing about this game versus the others is you're not just an assassin. And that was one of the biggest things that like it seems inconsequential, but when you put it in the grand scheme of the game, when you realize what that character is doing and who he is, it changes the game in such a fundamental way that it's like, it's crazy to me they've never thought of this before.
Well, it's a weird thing where if you went from like, if you were just presented with, if you had no sort of pre-knowledge of Assassin's Creed, and you were just like, oh, have you played the new Assassin's Creed game? And someone's like, no, I've only just gotten into gaming. It's like, oh, you should play the newest one. Play Origins first. Yeah. Like, you'd go into it and be like, where is this Assassin's Creed? Where's this? Where's the Creed and where are the Assassins? Because it's such a but if you play through the games as a whole, it makes perfect sense as to why the Assassins aren't there anymore because they're the worst part. It's like the worst part of the game.
It's always an unpleasant. The only game that did Assassins right was Unity because you sort of like
that game was built as like a stealth game as well.
Yeah,
they gave you you had a crouch. Did you have a crouch button in Unity or did you not?
Yeah, you had a crouch button.
Yeah, that was like the one big thing was just like you have a crouch button now.
Right,
and that made the game a stealth game.
And it had like corner cover. It was actually one of the better of the stealth games.
I mean, I've only played like 4 of the Assassin's Creeds. Mm-hmm. And it's not my favorite, but it's not my least favorite.
Yeah, it Origins borrows a lot of its stealth from it, and it benefits greatly from it. But right. I think one of the things they learned during that process of going through the other games, because the director, and I cannot think of his name, I should have written it down. I do apologize, but he talked a lot in the interviews before the game about they played all of the other Assassin's Creed games to death, and they went, what's missing? And the answer is characters that are more than just murder machines, right? Because, that's what an assassin is someone that kills, but what they realized is actually these are people with other motivations, and the fact that they become assassins is kind of tangential to their lives.
It's kind of the combination of some of the things that people disliked about Watch Dogs 2, where like a common trend that I've seen with Watch Dogs 2 is like, what if they just got rid of guns? Like, Watch Dogs 2 would still be a really cool game if they just got rid of guns.
Right.
And, like, gave the player more stealth options.
It would make way more sense.
And, like, the characters in Watch Dogs 2 aren't killers.
Yeah, and
they run around shooting people.
It's an incredibly good video game because of the characters in the world and the way you interact with it. And it's ruined by the fact that everyone has a gun.
You just kind of murder people. And like, AC Origins, they've been like, okay, let's make a character that isn't necessarily a killer. It is an Assassin's Creed game, so there's a bit of killing here and there. But it's not like... There's no real disconnect because there's enough non-killing there.
Yeah, the relationship between well, I'll talk about it in a bit once we kind of establish where we're sitting out with Bayek, but the relationship between the violence and the world and the way they interact together makes total sense.
Oh, it makes more sense. Yeah, it makes more sense than, like, teenagers with 3D printed guns just mowing people down with, like, zero consequence.
It feels so disconnected, yeah. So in this video game, you play as Bayek, who is a Medjay, which was sort of... These were real people, by the way, Medjay. They were sort of like these, like, kind of unofficial, semi-official sheriffs. They would just kind of wander through Egypt, fixing stuff. That was just their job. Like, they would
just solve problems.
Well, their job was to protect the pharaoh's interests, which a lot of the time just meant helping normal people.
Right. Okay.
So they would go out to communities and help.
So they were just like non-religious prophets.
Yeah, well, sort of like missionaries or marshals.
Missionaries, that's the one.
Yeah. They would just kind of go around and fix stuff.
Just solve problems.
Yeah, and one of the best parts of Origins is you play as Bayek, who's one of the last Medjay, and there is this sense throughout the game that people look to you for, like, genuine help. Like, in the other Assassin's Creed games, they're like, Jacob, you're an assassin. I need someone dead.
Go kill a boy, yeah.
Whereas in this, they go, oh my god, you're actually a Medjay. I really need your help. Man. And it's never related to, like...
Man, what game does that remind me of? Where people are like, oh, you're a thing. I have a problem that you're good at solving.
I don't know, but I imagine in that game they would have grey hair, maybe.
Yeah, and it would be...
Weird.
I imagine that would be a really good game. I wonder where that comes from.
Don't know, couldn't tell you.
No.
But one of the reasons it works really well in this is because it's, like, the world is so vast, and from a scale perspective... Egypt is fucking big. Like,
no, yeah, like
no, but okay, but in the other Assassin's Creed games, like, things are tall and things are wide and, like, things are divided, but Egypt is just fucking massive, and it's like it's immensely imposing. So you play this character who goes through this, like, imposingly large world, solving really small problems.
Yeah,
and it's so weirdly rewarding. It gives you such a game feel that, like, none of the other Assassin's Creeds have, and I think it's because the developers took the time to say, if you were Bayek, and we'll get to his motivations in a second, but if you were Bayek going through this world, what would you actually be doing day to day? And it's like every 4 weeks, you might be assassinating a Templar.
Yeah.
But chances are, like, you stop in a village to sleep for the night, and someone's like, hey, you're a Medjay, I need help with this.
Herd my cattle for me.
Yeah, it's a lot of that stuff.
For $20.
I listed some examples. Well, they don't even pay you. You just do it.
For 20...
You don't get paid.
For 20 feel-good points.
You get experience.
Good point. Good point. You get experience. A little bar in your chest goes like... Bloop.
That's the other thing I really like, is that doing quests for normal people doesn't net you money or gear. You just do it because it's a nice thing to do.
Right.
And that is like...
But you also get experience.
Well, but...
Because that's the intrinsic
reward.
Right,
but there's enough quests that by the time you get to doing a lot of them, it's not going to net you enough experience to make a difference.
Right. Okay.
So it is definitely like a case of you just go around and you just
kind of do it because it's fun.
You do it because you want to interact with the world and you want to fucking help people, which is a wildly, like, earnest way to build a video game plot, but that's kind of what they've done, and I've listed a few examples of some of those missions just for context.
Sure.
We talked about one of these in the video that we've done, which I'm still editing. You're riding through the countryside, and there's a group of people on the side of the road, and there's a woman, like, crying, and she stops you and she says, hey, listen, like, you're a Medjay, I really need your help. This area is infested by hippos, and we were beset by bandits. And 4 of our party, 4 of our traveling family died. And in any
you
other
definitely have to go and kill hippos and bandits.
Exactly. That's
it's
what
kill 20 hippos and get me 5 bandit skins.
that's your sort of World of Warcraft like reaction.
Yeah.
Like, triggered response to that. But this game said, she says, "Could you please retrieve the bodies?" Because at this time, Egypt is a very spiritual place. It still is,
and
obviously.
also, the bandits are probably fucked off.
Yeah, because
don't kill the hippos. They didn't do anything
Yeah,
to you.
exactly. And it's this like
I
weird...
mean, they killed your family, but like they're just hippos. It's in their nature.
Yeah, exactly.
They're born that way.
And this comes back to this idea that like Bayek is like, because he's a Magi, like he respects people's spirituality, and you go and do this, and it's like there's no great reward. You just put the bodies
You
down.
just kind of do it. Yeah.
She sort of thanks you, and you have a moment where you're like, well, I actually made a difference in this world.
Yeah.
I've chipped away a tiny bit at the sort of the encroaching
I've
darkness.
completed one of the Ubisoft objectives.
They're actually that's a pretty good system because you get points to buy stuff. It's pretty good.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Anyway, so no, another good one is a guy thinks his house is haunted, and so you literally
definitely have to go in and kill all the ghosts.
So what you do is you go around the neighborhood and you ask people if they think it's haunted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me another one. I like this.
You have to. Someone has lost a family heirloom.
Oh, you gotta go kill the bandit that stole it.
No, you go buy a replacement.
you just spend some money.
Yeah, well, because he's afraid that his wife is gonna be mad. So
Oh my fucking god!
you just go buy him a new one. But he can't.
You're
leave.
just solving domestic disputes.
But he can't leave because I think his family is like. I think his parents are coming over for dinner, and he's got to prepare.
God.
It's like domestic shit.
Oh god, that's dumb.
One of them is a child dies, and the family wants to have like a burial thing, but they can't get the right kind of bird feather because they can't catch birds.
You gotta go hunt down that fucking bird.
No, you just go to where they roost and you pick one up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like really small stuff like that where it's constant like little joyful surprises where you go, oh, that's like, of course.
I've been playing a lot of Skyrim where a lot of objectives are completed through, oh, this has gone. And you're like, oh, where's it gone? And they're like, some bandits took it. You're like, here we go.
Shocker.
I'm gonna go clear out a bandit camp real quick.
I think that's one of Skyrim's biggest weaknesses, but I also think that AC Origins does share that failure sometimes where because there's so many of those good, awesome quests, but every now and then you do want to do good murder, but every now and then you're like, I don't want to have to go fucking kill another bandit camp.
Right, yeah.
And there's still an element of that, but because of the variety of ways that you can really fuck with people in this video game, like, you could just lure a lion over and not have to fight them and just watch them get killed.
That's fun.
Or like, you can
like
just
fucking like goddamn Emperor Augustus in the fucking Gladiator.
That's exactly
arena.
what it is.
Just like, yes, kill him, lion.
Kill him.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, like you find a group of rebels and you're like, could you go? I don't want to. I'm gonna watch.
Fuck up.
I'm gonna watch. Do you mind?
Fuck off.
It's a lot of that.
Yeah, right.
But I think it really works because there is an element to it, and it weirdly feeds into the world building where I imagine that Bayek also doesn't always want to kill people.
Right.
So the role playing of the game is suited so well to the way they've made the game that you kind of end up acting like Bayek does because he behaves like you would. So like it's a weird feedback loop where you feel like you're role playing even when you're just being like, I don't want to fucking deal with this right now. You're just
sort of playing the game, yeah.
Yeah, and it's so instead of feeling like you're playing the game, you just play it.
Right. So you're not sort of forcing. There's no real like sort of brain power required to play the game.
You just kind of get into flow and it happens.
That's like a thing with like stuff like Mad Max, where that game it's a Warner Brothers game, but still has some of the sort of density of stuff to do that Ubisoft games have. Mm-hmm. But like Mad Max as a human being, he wouldn't give a fuck about, like, he wouldn't be climbing up arbitrary Ubisoft towers just for the sake of it. Like, he wouldn't do this or that. He'd only do things if
they were absolutely necessary.
There was, if 100% he needed to do it, and he'd just end up helping people along the way. Like, that's what all the Mad Max films are.
Yeah.
But the game has this weird thing where they're like, oh, we're going to give you objectives and you're just going to do them. And it's like, would you though? Like, it's just like, oh, I fixed the car, and now take me to this place. And Max would just be like,
no, I gotta go.
See you later. Yeah. We'll drive off into the distance with his doggo. Like
that's a complication though that I feel exists with all games that have this idea of like you have to use a tower to reveal a map space. And I know why they do it.
I fucking hate Ubisoft towers.
Like I get why. It's because video game maps are fucking overwhelming. Like you open it up
Right,
and you're like,
yeah.
"Ugh," and you like nearly like die a
Like
bit.
like Grand Theft Auto.
But Grand
like,
Theft Auto does it well. You just go to the place and it opens up as you go there.
Well, like the older Grand Theft Autos,
Yeah.
where you just got given the map,
Oh, it makes you want to die.
and like the like Saints Row and stuff like that.
I
You just have the map at the start. You're just like, oh,
I think that Origins does an interesting balance where you can go to a region and it will reveal the map of the region, but you have to use the tower to see stuff in it, like specific like shops and
Okay.
stuff. So it feels less like abusively in your face about it. And if you find a location, it'll always be on your map, even if you.
so
haven't
it's
done the
not like
tower.
like another example is like the Zelda towers, but there's only like 6 of them.
Yeah, it's far
and-
less. It's
and-
nowhere near as not egregious.
And I
as
guess
the
with
Zelda
Zelda towers, like while they do, they primarily unlock the map, but they also secondarily as like a optional thing, you can use them as just sort of vantage points.
Don't
Is
you?
that
Can't you also use them to find? Am I thinking of Shadow War? Can you find like shards or something in? Doesn't it like?
What's a
Can you use your
shard?
telescope or something? You can. It bleeps. I can't remember. Is that?
Oh, the shrine tracker.
Is that
in Zelda.
no? Maybe I'm.
That's just like a radar thing.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking
No,
of Shadow
you
War.
just use like your binoculars to look around. You can mark points.
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
thinking
map.
of Shadow War. In
Yeah.
Shadow War, when you get to the top of the Ubisoft tower, you
I do like that. That's just what they're called.
that's what they are.
It's-
You have a reticle, and it starts off the size of the screen, and as you get closer to something, it narrows in. And
Oh,
it
that was in
marks
Shadow
the map.
Mordor as well.
And it's
Oh.
like I don't hate that, but it's just
It's a bit pointless.
it's just like a task for the sake.
It's just
show me-
it's just kind of a thing. Yeah, at least with Zelda, well, because with that system, we're kind of going on a tangent, but with that system, you're actively told like, oh, like you've got to find one. It's like, okay, I'm gonna find it, whatever. It's like,
Uh-huh.
okay, there it is, whatever. But in Zelda, it's more of like a
You have to
like,
actually find it.
yeah, it's a difference between you have to find three, and it's like, okay, whatever, and it's dumb mini game. Or Zelda, where it's just like, you could stand up here and just look at things.
And there,
And it's like, yeah,
yeah,
I could stand up here and just look at
and I
things.
do that a lot.
Oh, look, there's a shrine.
One of
I'm
the
gonna
best
mark
parts-
that.
yeah.
Oh, look, there's a cool looking place. I'm gonna mark that.
One of the fuck the number of times I've been like that looks like a dope hill, and I'll just mark it.
Yeah, you're like, I
So
want to go to that hill.
that is a buck wild like
I want to shield slide down that hill.
the opposite of it's the opposite of gamification, and it makes it feel so much more like real.
Like natural, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why like that's why I really enjoy. Well, I mean, Zelda does a lot of stuff well, but I think when you look at where the industry is going as far as like RPG open world games, The Witcher 3 set such a fucking high standard for like role playing and storytelling, and then Zelda set such a fucking high standard for like gameplay
Gameplay, yeah.
and world building and stuff like that. That you look at, okay, well, how do you follow that up? And the answer that Origins had was, well, we do something like that's very us.
It's still very Ubisoft.
Yeah, but it feels more Assassin's Creed than Ubisoft to me in a lot of ways. Like there's all the trappings.
They're
of a
kind of
Ubisoft
one and the
game.
same though. Oh,
No, because you look at Watch Dogs and
yeah, I guess Watch Dogs is kind of Far Cry. I think Far
Far
Cry
Cry
is
is the most Ubisoft.
Far Cry is the most Ubisoft
because it's an empty
game.
sandbox with towers.
Yeah,
and you don't really have choices, and they do.
you don't really do anything in those games.
Yeah, and that's why I really have enjoyed Origins. Like, and it's not just because like, yeah, you get to like help people, but it's because playing as Bayek feels like this is going to be hard to explain, but I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to spoil a cutscene about an hour and a half into the game.
As you know,
It's
if it's
okay.
in the title,
It's in the title of the thing. The title episode, we're going to spoil it. So if you don't want any spoilers for the story,
get out of here. Leave.
Go! Get out. Why are you in our house? Leave, please.
You've been here for long enough.
Yeah, bloody stealing our aircon. So the reason I like Bayek is that he is an actual character. He's not a caricature. Like, he's the first scene you see him in the game.
He's not. Hey, it's me, Mario. Hello, it's your bear.
I mean, it would have been super hard to do that because he's African. So it would have been like
Oh
an
yeah,
issue.
yeah. It's fine to you can make fun of Italians. It's
Boy.
alright. You can't make
but they haven't-
fun of people from Africa.
Yeah, we didn't kill a bunch of them for no reason.
no,
But
that's not okay.
no. So he's actually like a character with like not complex motivations, but understandable and conflicting motivations, which is something that like we rarely get. The most conflict we've seen largely in Assassin's Creed games is should I kill this person or shouldn't I?
And the answer is usually, yeah.
As I will. That's the answer. There's
The
never a
answer is
resolution.
yes, like you should.
Whereas Origins asks some more complex questions of Bayek, like, should I work with this person and put them at risk from the people that I'm hunting? Should I do this quest and leave my wife for a month? Should I help this person risking these other people's lives? Should I support this politician knowing too well that they want something out of me that I can't deliver? Like, the questions posed are more interesting, not because of the questions themselves, but because of the person. So, Bayek is like... Bayek is this guy who he's caring, he smiles, he laughs. Like, he's quick to laugh, but not in like a sarcastic, sardonic, Tony Stark kind of way.
Right.
But in like an earnest way. Like, he really likes kids. Like, he likes children.
Oh, that's nice.
And like, he laughs.
It's better than,
kids.
I think, literally every other.
Yeah.
Actually, have kids... Are there kids in any other Assassin's Creed game?
Well, kids play a big... Well, there's your brothers in AC2, but they get killed immediately.
That doesn't.
then
They're
there's your
teenage.
daughter at the end
I'm talking kids.
Not really.
Like kids just running around in the open world.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't think I know. There's none in 2. There's none in 4.
Children play a really heavy role in this game because the impetus for... So basically, like, to cut the plot of the start of the game short, Bayek is a Magi, and Ptolemy is taking over Egypt, and Ptolemy has this kind of order of people that work for him as they sort of subvert Egypt's culture, and they kind of oppress people. And so Bayek being a Magi, they started systematically killing the Magi.
They want to murk him out, yeah.
So they capture Bayek and his kid and his son. And Bayek's son he's really quiet. They're tied up, and the son manages to like grab a knife from one of the guards and gives it to Bayek, and then the guards come in, and Bayek sort of grabs a knife, and like in sort of an action movie style thing. He's trying to drive the knife at this guy, and the guy's holding him off or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And it's this really tense moment where you're like, oh, this is kind of a cliche, and then the guy just steps to the side, and Bayek falls forward and stabs his son.
Oh, fucking goddamn it! It's like, why are you standing there, you dumb boy?
Yeah, it's like shit. Like, it's like a real like, oh fuck. So then what you've got is this guy who was like this nice, loving, caring person, suddenly like driven to violence because he killed his own son.
That's rough.
And so there's this conflict between, I'm doing it to get revenge for my son, but I'm still a fucking Magi.
Yeah.
I'm still going to help people. And that conflict is so interesting because, he's like he's fun, he's caring, but he's also this vicious murderer. Like, he loves his wife, but they've also spent the last 5 years systematically killing people. Like, it's this complicated dynamic that means that when you go out into the world as Bayek, you feel like when someone asks you for help, even if it's just out of guilt, you're like,
I really got to do that. Yeah.
Because I got to make up for all the stuff I've done.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll make the world a better place for it. So I don't know. To me, that it feels like the world is so much more well considered with the gameplay, not just one or the other. Like, Unity was very much, they spent so much time on the world, but the gameplay didn't really mesh. And then, Unity was like, we spent so much time on trying to get the gameplay working that we forgot about the story and the world.
Unity twice?
I meant Syndicate the first time.
Okay.
I honestly always call Syndicate.
You mix them up. You've mixed them up this entire
time.
fucking episode, I'm pretty sure.
I don't. Dude, it's hard to say.
Go back and edit them.
Go back. Here's a clean take. Unity. Syndicate. Syndicate.
All right, good.
No, it's I don't know. To me, there's a level of complexity there that means that when you play the game, you do get into that flow that you need for a role-playing game to feel like you're immersed. Like, when I'm riding from place to place in Origins, I'm not dropping on a podcast to kill the time. I'm like listening to the world, and I'm looking around, and I'm using Senu to kind of look around. And also,
fucking drone eagle.
On that
fucking drone eagle.
On that note, I'm on record on this podcast before the game came out saying how dumb that fucking bird is.
Fucking drone eagle is so dumb.
One of the best features of the game.
That's fucking stupid.
Here's why.
Goddamn drone eagle.
Shut the fuck up. Here's why. Okay? No, here's why it's the best replacement for Eagle Vision that's ever been.
Oh, it's literal Eagle Vision. It's better than old Eagle Vision.
But the reason it works so well is that there is something weirdly awesome about being a bird in the sky, just like looking at shit.
Yeah, but you're a drone. You're not a bird, you're a drone. You're straight up a hovering drone.
That is less obtrusive than you think it would be.
Right.
I was expecting it to be like...
It'd probably be worse if you were constantly moving. I get that.
Yeah.
But
I was expecting like to play it and be like, this is an annoying feature I need to use all the time. But like, you don't use it that often, and when you do, it's for like 10 seconds tops.
Right,
like, it's a part of the game that you go... I would prefer if it wasn't in the game, but the way they've implemented it doesn't feel as egregious as I expected.
Okay.
And it also adds to this sense of Bayek is the kind of guy who has this eagle that follows him around. He's trained really well, but he's also the kind of guy that like he doesn't really care about the bird that much. Like, it's an interesting dynamic between them where he sort of treats the bird sometimes really well and sometimes really badly.
Right.
But it speaks again to, like, this character is more than one dimension.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think makes those stops feel like, this is the weird thing, right? Like, and this might be a good place to end, but the weird thing about this video game is when you're in it and you're in that flow and you're doing a quest and someone says, hey, please stop, I need your help. You don't go, I'm going to hold the A button and keep writing. You go, oh man, I got to stop.
Yeah. And
that to me speaks to a level of craft and of integration of like the gameplay system with the world building and the characters and that whole system that clearly they saw all the parts of Witcher 3 that were working and they genuinely understood why The Witcher 3 was enjoyable. And I think if more game studios spend the time that Origins did, they do take the year off, they do spend the time to actually develop it, we're going to get more games like this.
You get decent sequels.
Yeah, and this feels like
amazing.
This feels like a benchmark. Like, this feels like, in the same way that The Witcher 3 was a benchmark for
this feels like an achievable benchmark.
It's an achievable AAA industry benchmark. The Witcher 3 is so incredibly good, no one else can do that. No one else
except for them when they do it again.
No one else is CD Projekt
with
Red,
Cyberpunk.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, no one is going to be CD Projekt Red. It's not going to happen. But what you can do is go, okay, well, Assassin's Creed set the industry AAA benchmark for RPGs that are pretty good.
And achievable.
And it's also, just as a side note, it's an amazing looking game.
That looks really nice. Yeah.
Like, and it's stylish. It's not like, oh, it's realistic. It's stylish. It's like a watercolor painting. There's a few moments where you'll be sort of riding a boat through a tiny sort of lake, through the heart of like a wetland, and the sun will be going down. And it's like it's like gorgeous. It's so beautiful. Like, it's such a beautiful video game. And it's one of those things where when I play it, it really does feel like we've hit a point where sometimes with enough time, AAA games can be as good as the kind of industry breakout hits from people like CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
But it's that time of the week, Ben. Got any recommendations for this week?
Elder Scrolls V Skyrim for the new Donk City Switch.
Man, I've been going hard on that shit.
It's
extremely good.
Fuck me. I never thought I would spend $80 on Skyrim and then enjoy it.
I mean, I really like Skyrim in all its forms, but
oh yeah,
our screen is now sideways. Just for anyone at home wondering. I fuck with that game so hard. It's so good.
It's sort of it's the kind of like, this is the time when I'm gonna go through and like
play the whole game,
smash Skyrim.
I think
like I had that with New Vegas, and now it's happening with Skyrim.
Yeah, it's gonna
no other Bethesda game has happened with.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the Fallout 4. It's not gonna happen. I'm waiting for Fallout 3. It's not gonna happen. It happened pretty early with New Vegas because it's a great game, and now I guess I'm getting it with Skyrim now. So.
It's extremely good.
I guess I'm going through iteratively. It's New Vegas, Skyrim. I guess then I'll eventually do Fallout 4. Maybe when like 2 more Bethesda games come out.
Fallout 4's bad. I've watched like the first 2 episodes of The Punisher. It's really good.
I watched the first 2 episodes of Mindhunters.
Oh yeah, I did see that one on Netflix. Is that any good?
Its dialogue is stilted. The acting kind of sucks, but I do actually enjoy it. I think
Interesting.
It's fun. Yeah,
you like the premise.
The premise is really it's like some of the episodes are really like, I'm 2 episodes in, but like some of the threads that they pull are like really, really cool. It's like set in the 70s, and it's basically just like before criminology acknowledged the elements of psychology and sociology that were important.
Yep.
It's just like it's an FBI agent who is trying to fight against his like very conservative boss, who's just like, psychology and academics are all bullshit, and he's trying to like bring more like smarts in, and there's like clashes because he's an FBI agent, and everyone in academics hates him because it's the 70s. It's a good show, and there's also like references to like the Manson family and all these other like serial killers.
So very much in your space.
Oh, I'm all about it. It's very good.
What I'm confused by is why you still haven't watched Stranger Things, but that's neither here nor there.
That will happen.
You gotta fucking do it. Sure. Jesus Christ.
I'm sure it'll happen eventually.
Also, the other thing that I've been checking out is I was re-listening to Vice Quadrant by Sneak Power Giraffe, and I bought their latest record.
Oh, they have a new one?
It's very good.
Oh, fuck. I need to listen to it.
Very good. We'll do an episode on it. It's very good. It's not as good as nothing will be as good as Vice Quadrant, but it's pretty good.
The Vice Quadrant was a goddamn masterpiece.
That's like a piece of art.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I was going to recommend was, now I've forgotten, and I fucking stole the ending of the episode to do this, and I'm still fucking treading water. What the fuck was it?
Twitter.
No, it was the it wasn't Twitter that I was going to recommend. No, I've been watching a lot of YouTube because I've been doing a lot of stuff. I'm super busy, so YouTube's just like kind of always on.
Yeah.
Nerdwriter's latest video is fucking dope.
Oh, yeah.
Check
On
that out.
the topic of YouTube, I've been watching this guy called Nakey Jakey.
Mm-hmm.
He's a funny boy.
Good name.
Check his shit out. He's very entertaining.
Excellent.
Oh man. He's good.
There's your recommendations for this week. But Ben, it's that time. Where can people find us?
Twitter,
At DCM_works.
Facebook.
Facebook. No, it's DCM Works Social on Facebook. I know how this works.
Yeah, YouTube.
YouTube.com/DCMworks. I also recommend with the YouTube, James and I currently have a series called Hat Boys. It's one every fortnight.
Hat Boys.
And it's Hat Boys, and what
where you play the Marios.
We play Mario Odyssey, but it's wild.
But it's the 2-player.
And we play co-op.
The 2-2.
Which is extremely fun. So
I haven't even touched it. I need to play it with someone.
Oh my god.
Might play with Laura, because I've finished Mario Odyssey,
you
so
gotta fucking play
go
co-op,
back
dog.
and play it again.
Patreon. Patreon.com/DCMworks. If you are a Patreon who is paying more.
First of all, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Patreon.
Second of all, continue.
Thank you patrons for this week, and we did a Twitter post, but like seriously, like you guys are the best. You know, like it's like you see all the dumb stuff that we make, and you go, yeah, that's something for me, and we fucking appreciate that.
Yeah.
As always, we recommend if you do want to support us, chuck in like $1 a month, like any.
Chuck us $1.
We'd much rather $1 for a year than $12 for 2 months. You know, it really helps us. The consistent income helps us pay for servers.
I think monetarily wise.
I mean, listen, there's a reason.
$12 for 2 months is
I'm not a good businessman.
arguably better.
But you know, first it's about sustainability.
Long term, yeah.
And what I care about is
Right.
that, you know, we can keep the servers up for the podcast, and we can keep doing interesting different stuff for you guys. So I appreciate that. Interface Part 3 is up now.
Woo!
It's fucking spicy,
So,
yo.
Part 3.
Part 3 is up.
Oh, I keep trying to remember
That's the one with the whales where you kind of swim down.
Spoiler alert.
Well, there'll be a trailer for that going up sometime soon on this podcast
Hell
feed.
yeah.
So fucking keep your eyes out for that.
That series is
It's so good.
So
Part
hard.
4's up in about 2 weeks. I just have to actually start editing that one. They take a lot of work, so I appreciate that you guys have patience with that. If you are a $6 plus patron, you will get a message this week from me, probably by the time this goes up, if not before Monday, with instructions on what to do to how to get your Patreon only free T-shirt.
Oh, hooray. T-shirts.
So you'll get
Wear
one of
us
them.
on your chests.
Wear us on your chest. But if you also just want to buy a T-shirt, you can go to redbubble.com
To also wear us on your chest.
people/DCMworks. And we've got a few designs up there. I personally recommend the pocket tee that Ben's rocking. It's a very good look. It's pretty low key too. People don't know you're a massive nerd.
Like I walk past people and no one
They
looks
don't
at
know
me.
because it looks like an actual business logo. Because we
Yeah,
have an actual business
fantastic.
logo now. So go grab that. We have some other kind of fun shirts there as well. But as always, anything you do to help the show really does make a difference. Tell a friend, tell your nan, tell your dad. But as
In
always,
that order.
well, no, in that order. Preferably if they're standing next to each other, it'd be a weird conversation. Actually, something that I was gonna mention. No, because this was the thing I was gonna end on this week.
More outro.
I just remembered.
Right.
I'm putting something up next week on the website, dcm.works. We've just refurbished it. I'm putting something up on the website next week for a way for you guys to submit some feedback about the show that I'm really fucking excited about. So I'll be posting on Twitter about that. So make sure you follow us there at DCM_works. Because I'm super stoked about some possibilities with some, user integration with some topics and stuff. So
Some interaction.
it'll be great. But as always, I'm at DCM I Hate Pie.
I'm at Literal Citrus.
I'll see you guys next week. We're Sinky Boys now.
We're Siggity Boys.
I've never been so sick in my entire
Siggity
life.
Boys for the video games.
Are you doing the character from Looney Tunes?
That's
all, folks.
That's all, folks. Yeah.
He has a speech impediment and they thought that was a fucking joke. Are you kidding me?
It was probably a song that reminded me of it, or I'd done an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice.
Writing is definitely an isolating thing.
From an outside perspective, that's weird as
It makes
fuck.
us look really mental.
But that is
because of what it kind of said about art.
I had fun in bits. There were fun bits.
we went and bought a value pack of straps.
Oh my god, we did. There's a big lesson here to learn about storytelling.